Okay, so let's start with this software then. So with KNX Virtual, first thing that you need to do is to make a link, link it actually to ETS. That's actually very simple. So there's a KNXNet IP interface emulated here, which has a fixed IP address. The address is 127.0.0.1. That's the IP address. And there's a specific IP port. By default, I set it to 3671. You can change it, of course. But normally, if you keep those settings, so if you just confirm them with OK, and then for the rest, yeah, for the project, I will just put the devices in the TP line with the line address 1.1. So you just need to set up your ETS project accordingly, and then everything is fine. So just confirm everything. Then ETS should actually automatically detect the this interface. If not, you can always set it up manually via this bus section here, but normally that is not a problem. All right, so the link should be there. Then a first thing that we can do is maybe to have a look on the devices, right? So here we see an overview of the devices that KNX Virtual covers. Again, all these devices are described on the support.knx.org site. So you can then find a description of them. I'm not going to go through all of that here, so you can read that for yourself. And then basically you can play then, so this is just the devices overview, which by the way, I need to, in order to push the programming button, because these little buttons here indeed emulate programming buttons. So that's a programming LED if you want, which becomes red, which lights up actually, so to say, when you click it. When you click it again, it just switches off. That means switching off means the device is not in programming mode anymore. What's furthermore to discover? Well, there's a base view, there's a specific view that with which we can play in order to also here in this session to test scenes. Okay, then next step is to create the actual project in ETS. So I'll just click here on this plus sign here, which will indeed create a new project. I'll call it scene webinar, just like that. I'll create in the backbone. It needs an IP. In the backbone. It needs to be it needs to have the IP medium in order to connect this project to the to KNX Virtual. You need that. And the topology, is TP. So underneath that backbone, there's TP. And yes, I need to align 1.1. So that is just according to the default settings that we just have accepted in the settings of KNX Virtual. So just create a project, and then it's all fine. Next step is then to, I'm going to change the topology view. So that you could see the line 1.1, which is now currently empty, no devices there. So next step is to add devices. How do you add devices? Well, you can do that via the catalogs. That's actually an online catalog here. You have to select then the manufacturer, which is in this case, since it is KNX Virtual, KNX Association. Because KNX Association is the only manufacturer that has virtual devices so far, at least. So where is it? It's alphabetically here. Just a moment. Well, here it is. And then you get to see the list of, in a moment, of the devices that are available from KNX Association. Now the names, they better said the view here. So remember this view. These these labels, they actually correspond with the order number. So that's how you can check what devices you need here. So in this case, I will need, for the scenes, I will need 4 devices. I want to play with the push button, which is called clicks here. This one I need. I'll need also the the scene control module here, so this device. I'm going to play with the dimmer, with a dimmer. Just a moment, I also have to look for myself, which is this one. And I'll also need the blinds control, the blinds actuator, this one. So I have selected the 4 devices that I need, and I just simply need to click this add button, and then these devices will be added to the line 1.1. So let's just wait a moment. So here they are, and since I don't need the catalog anymore, I just simply close it. So okay, what do we have here now? So we have 4 devices, and they will allow me indeed to create a scene. So what is the scene? I already explained it in the introduction. It is actually this is a device that allows me to create a certain scene. That means there will be one telegram coming from the bus, so typically sent via a button from clicks here. So that button just sends a command, so to say, to the scene control. And with that one command, which is just one group address, I'm able to send, as a reaction to that command, I can send out specific values to the bus. So specific values could be, okay, put the lamp which is connected to channel 1 of the dimming actuator to that specific value. And at the same time, you also I need to have the channel 2 of the same dimming actuator switch to yet another value. And at the same time, I also want channel 1 of the blinds actuator then to, I want that device to set the blind also to a specific position. And I could do also the same for channel 2 of the blinds actuator, again, to another position. And that is exactly what I will do here. So, so one trigger that will result into 4 triggers if you want. So I'll start from the, I will just start with the setting up the basic dimming and blinds control functions. And out of that, I will then create the actual scene. That will be, so 3 parts. So the first part now, it's just to, as I said, setting up the basic function, just controlling the blinds and the dimming and the dimmable lamps. In the second phase, in the second step, I will then create the scene. And in the third step, I will optimize the scene in that way that I also add the learning aspect of the scene. That means that even the end user could create or could adapt the scene without the need of the installer changing it. So it's the end user that can do that by himself, by herself. I will also show you how that can be done, as I said, in the third part of the exercise. So first part of the exercise is to just control the basic function as such. So I'll just start with the push button. So now all channels by default of that, maybe I show you the device first. So here we see that the push buttons, they are now not active, not programmed. So they have the default label, B1.1 example given. So I will also change that. By default, they are all set to switching. So I will then just change that via the parameters of the device. So channel 1 or row 1 if you want, so B1.1 and B1.2, I want that actually to use, I want to use those 2 buttons for dimming. Dimming with no feedback. And channel 2 the same thing. I also there want dimming with no feedback. Channel 3 I'm going to use for blinds, and channel 4 as well. Okay, fine. Then channel 5, or maybe I just wait with that. I'm not going to mix up the steps here. So I'm still at step 1, fine. then I'll get to see the group objects. So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and 4 have changed. You can see that. The rest of the channels I just keep as is. Then the dimming actuator. So I'm going to first link then indeed the let's say channel 1 and channel 2 accordingly with channel 1 and channel 2 of the dimming actuator. So we see that here. So everybody has, I mean, there are several ways to now link these objects together. My personal way of doing that is just by simply selecting the object and dragging it into the other object. So here, the channel 1 dimming control, or better, I start maybe with on-off. I'll drop that just to channel 1 of the actuator, and of course also on-off. ETS then suggests me to select an existing group address, which does not exist yet, so I have to create a new one, and I'll just use for that example given 0.1.1. Fine. And then you can see that 0.1.1 is indeed now assigned to both those objects, which means they are linked together, at least after I have commissioned the device, of course. But there's more to do because there's also a dimming control that I need here. So same channel, and then ETS automatically suggests me the new group address in the same series on the same range. And I'll just confirm if I like that. And for me, it's okay. So just confirm it. The dimming value, that is exactly, so this object from the dimming actuator is exactly what I will need in actually access in the second part of the exercise. So when I'm really going to play with the scene. So I leave it open for now because it's not part of step 1. Okay, then I need to do the same for channel 2. So same thing, on off to on off. Fine. Dimming control to dimming control, and that's fine. There's also a blinds actuator, so therefore I will need to select then channel 3 and channel 4 of clicks of the buttons, the push buttons, and those need to be linked with, so respectively, to channel 1 and channel 2 of the blinds actuator. So also simple here, the channel 3 of clicks, so the move object, I'll just link it to the move object of channel 1 of the blinds actuator. Okay. And step stop accordingly, so same thing. So here I could make the same remark, the position object of channel 1 of the blinds actuator here is to be used in step 2 of the exercise. So not now, so that's why I don't link it yet. And then I just need to continue with the other blinds. So same principle, move to move, and step stop to step stop. Yeah, so that's quite easy. So we already have something to test here. So we already have 3 devices that we can commission. So let's do that. So I'll start with the push button. I need to do the first time that I download or that I commission the device, I need to do a full download, because the full download also includes the setting of the individual address of the device. Once this individual address is set, I don't need to set it again. So from the second time onwards that I need to make a modification, I can just do download application or just even partial download. But now it's the first time, so full download. And for a full download, you need to press the programming button. So therefore, you need to change the view. So you go to the devices view and then select the proper device. So clicks is this one, PB-B01. And here's the programming button. As you know, when I press it, ETS will be able to find the device in programming mode and set the individual address. And after the individual address is set, it is able to set or to commission the application program, which now is finished. So I'll just continue with the dimming activator. So same thing. Yeah, I need to put it in programming mode. So dimming activates this device here. And then again, wait for ETS to finish. Okay, then next lines activator. Full download again, and the blinds activator is this device. Okay. And then we could have a look. So in the base view, whether, so I see that the buttons have changed. So I have here D from dimming and B from blind. So that seems already to be okay. So if I just switch on the lamp, 1 and 2, so at least channel 1 and channel 2 of the dimmable lamps seems to work. Can I also actually dim them? So they are now switched onto 100%. And if I indeed dim them down, we can see that, yeah, they indeed, that the brightness does change. And of course, eventually would go to 0 or just by switching them off, of course. So that seems to be fine. I can really control these dimmable lamps via the push buttons. Now let's try the same thing for blinds. Okay, see if this works. So the blinds is moving down. Can I stop the movement? Yes. Can I make the movement go up again? Yeah. Same for the second channel. Oh, there seems to be a problem here. Maybe I did something wrong. Oh yes, I see the mistake. There's a mistake here. I need to check that function. Sorry for that. There's something went wrong here. So I'll check properly channel 3 and 4 of clicks and channel 1 and 2 of yeah, there's definitely something wrong here. So 015 and 016 should be linked to channel 1 of the blinds activator, which is the case. And here something went wrong. So I only have 107 properly linked. This is definitely wrong, so I have to unlink that. I don't know why this happened. So I just start again with this. This should be, yes, that should be fine. Okay, I don't know why this happened. I did something wrong. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'll only need to modify, let's say, reprogram the blinds activator. I can just do this via a partial download. And then because of the reset, I should maybe try again. So to move it up, sorry. No, something is definitely wrong. So maybe I should maybe download the application entirely again. Okay. So I think that now blinds 1 is okay. I can stop the movement and do a step accordingly. So that seems to be fine. And let's check for blinds, the channel 2 also. So if I step it up, stop the movement. Well, channel 2 is still causing me trouble. I don't know. Maybe I need to check that function again. Yeah, this was actually not foreseen. Some issues with channel 2 still. Although that it seems fine here, 1.7 for moving and 1.18 for step stop. I don't understand myself. Maybe I need to commission also for just to make sure. Maybe also clicks. Maybe that is the problem. So I'll try it again. Yeah, okay, that was the issue. Yeah, I should have also programmed the the push button. So you can see that indeed KNX Virtual really behaves like a real installation. If you create a wrong configuration, it will also be wrong it will just not work properly, and that's what we have seen. So now everything works properly because I reprogrammed the devices. There was indeed a mistake first, but now that problem is gone. Okay, fine. So that was actually part one of the exercise. So with a bit of hiccup, but also, yeah, experience as such, I would say. So what is the second step? So as I said, what I want now is to have just an extra button with which I just can control those four electrical consumers. So those two lamps and those two blinds, just with one command. That is actually what I try to achieve here. That's at least for step 2. So first thing that I need to change for the push button is to add that button then, or those two buttons. And therefore I just need to go to the parameters of the device. So channel 5. And there I'll just select scene. There's a scene number that needs to be selected. So in this case, scene 1, I could change it. Just let's say I take 3. I just need to make sure that I use the same scene number in the scene module. So that's the only thing that I need to take care of. And for the rest, it's fine. So here I see then 2 objects, if this is okay at least. Channel 5, so here it is. The order changed for some reason. Here we see it. So channel 5, scene control activate and scene control learn. So now in step 2, I will just focus on activate, and in step 3, I will focus on learn. So activate, first thing. So activate means that is the command that I will send to the scene module in order to trigger the scene. So then I just need to set up the scene. So here it is. I'll use channel 1 for that. And what I need is to change actually the scene objects, because I have now 4, but they are not configured the way they are supposed to be configured. We will see that in the parameters. First of all, channel 1, if I want to use channel 1, I need to change the scene number. As I told you before, it needs to correspond to the scene number that will be sent via the push button. So in this case, 3. I will use I will not use any extra features here, just to keep to stick to the basic functionality here. It's already complicated as it is, so I will not do that. But of course, knock yourself out if you try it yourself. But for the webinar, I'm not going to use it right now. So I'll have 4 objects, scene objects, which is fine. So I could also have 5, 6, 7, and 8, but I will not use them because I will only need 4. I will only need 4. Remember, 2 dimmable lamps and 2 blinds. However, for scene 1, the default is set to 1 bit, which is not okay because I need definitely 8-bit in order to control the dimmable lamp. It is even possible, okay, it is even possible to select temperature. So if the scene would also control temperature, well then obviously you need to select that scene object. Here I just need 8-bit, and now this is fine. So let's have a look at the group objects. So if I need to set up the scene, I need to properly set it up. I need to select channel 5 of the clicks of the push buttons and channel 1 of the scene module. So the first link that I need to make is the link between the scene control activate of clicks and the scene control object of the scene module of channel 1. So same thing, I just linked that. Maybe I intentionally start a new range here, so 0, 2, 1, in order to, as I said, this is step 2 of the exercise, so therefore I have selected 2. It's to make it clear. All right, so that means with this link, I can at least, so to say, trigger the scene or activate the scene. So that's already one thing. Then the scene objects as such are then the objects that the scene module will use in order to really, let's say, activate the scene. That means to really set the values as I want them. So the first 2 objects here, 1 and 2, I will use to control the 2 channels of the dimmer, and objects 3 and 4 I will use in order to control the position of the blinds. So it's actually quite simple. What I need to add here, so I can unselect, so to say, the clicks. I don't need it anymore to further set up this function. So I could select just channel 1 of the scene module and the 2 first channels of the dimming actuator, just like that. And then I'll just need to link the objects accordingly. So scene object 1 I would use to control the dimming value of the dimming actuator, channel 1, just like that. And scene number 2 I would use to control the dimming value of channel 2 of the dimming actuator. All right. Then I don't need the dimming actuator anymore because that is linked. And then I just need to select channel 1 and 2 of the blinds actuator and channel 1 of the scene module. And then I'll need to link scene object 3 of the scene module of channel 1 to the position object of channel 1 of the blinds actuator. And then scene object 4, I'll just link that to the position object of channel 2 of the blinds actuator. Okay. So, okay, that is of course a modification of the devices again. So I'll need to commission that. So first of all, clicks. I just need to download. It should be a partial download, should be fine. And then we can see here in the user interface here that indeed there is another button here, or a button has changed. It's S3.A and S3.L. So that is scene number 3 activate, and this is scene number 3, but then learn. So I will only use for this step 2, the .a button. Of course, this is not enough. I'll also need to change the configuration of the dimming actuator. So also here a partial download. And then, of course, also for the blinds activator, also a partial download. Okay, now we can try this scene. That means if I now just control, if I do something with the lamps, I dim them down or whatever, and I put the blinds in a specific position. Just like that. Then we can already see what the effect is of a scene. However, the scene is now not really set up properly, because the scene objects now, so what I mean by that is, so if I take a look again at the objects, so the objects, scene object 1, 2, 3, and 4, they now at this very moment, they have the default value being 0, because they have not been programmed yet, so to say. So, or in other words, I didn't use the learn objects yet. Yeah? So they are not linked in any way. So therefore, the scene objects now have currently just object value 0. What does that mean? Well, if I would activate now the scene, it would work, but it would just switch off the lamps and it would just put the 2 blinds to position 0. But okay, at least we see the scene in action. So let's try that. So if I just click this button here, it will send one command to the scene module, and the scene module, well, we can even see that in the monitor, of course. It's easier to show than to explain via via words, so to say. So let's see what happens here. So I'll activate the scene. And then, yes, of course, nothing happens because I didn't program the scene yet. Sorry, my mistake. This time I need a full download. This is the first time that I programmed the scene device. But at least you have seen that indeed the push button did send an activate on number 3. So that is indeed sent from device 1.1, which is the clicks. So that's correct. So let me program the device first, the scene. So that's the full download. Then I need to change the view again. Scene module is this device. Okay, fine. So that is done now. I'll go back to the view, the base view. So the lamps are still in the position where I left them, and just like the blinds, indeed. I clear the monitor because too much telegrams there, and I try again. So I'm going to activate the scene, which means, again, I repeat that both lamps will be switched off, both blinds will be driven to position 0, because the scene objects still have the default value being 0. So let me try that. So we have seen indeed the effect. So as I described it. And in the monitor, you can also clearly see that. So device 1.1.1 did send an activate on 3, which results in 0% for the 4 objects. Okay, I think this is enough for step 2. So you have seen how how you can set up the scene and how you activate the scene actually. Now in step 3, I need to finalize the function actually by also including the learn objects. Well, this is not so easy, but I will try to guide you through it. I mean, as clear as I can be. In order to set up this scene now, or to make it complete, you not only need the learn objects from the scene module. So let me show that to you again. So those 4 objects. But you also need the so-called feedback objects from the dimming actuator and the blinds actuator. Yeah? Because the feedback objects, they actually give us the real value that is currently active. Yeah? So in other words, let's take the example of the blinds actuator. If I just dim up the lamp to a specific value, then when I stop then the dimming, so I have reached the dimming value that I want, let's say, as user of the function, then the device will via a feedback object send me that value that has been reached, so to say. So that is a reaction of the device. Okay, just let me show that to you. So from the dimming actuator, what I need to do, well, first of all, if we take a look again at the dimming actuator channels, then we see that indeed per channel there are now 3 objects: on off, dimming control, and dimming value. So I need to add another one called feedback. How do we add that object? Well, via the parameters. So the parameters of the device. So I go into channel 1, and what I'll need there is feedback, so which is now set to no feedback, and I'll need the info dimming value. So I have that now for channel 1, and I'll add it also for channel 2. So the info dimming value. If I take then again a look at the objects, then I see info dimming value here and here as well, not being used. I'll do the same for the blinds actuator. So also there, channel 1 and 2, if we look at it, yes, indeed, only move, step, stop, and position, but no feedback. So also here, same exercise. If I want to add that object, I need to add it via the parameters. And here it is. So here is this info position feature, which is now set to no. So if I click yes, then I have that feature activated. And I do the same for channel 2. So also a yes here. And then if I have a look again in the objects, then so if we filter out only 1 and 2, then we can see indeed there's an info position here and an info position there, and of course both not used, not yet at least. So now to complete the function, I'll need to click to select the involved objects. So that means that's channel 1 of the scene module and channel 1 and channel 2 of the dimming actuator. Because now I need to be careful. I need to make sure that the learn object and the scene objects correspond. Yeah? So in other words, scene object 1 is linked to address 022, and 022 is linked to channel 1 of the dimming actuator. So that means the info dimming value should be linked to the learn object 1. Because why is that? Because with the learn function, I will make the device copy the value of the learn object into the scene object 1. So the numbers correspond. So I repeat, with the learn function here, I'll make the scene module copy the values of the learn objects into the scene objects, and this according to the number. So in other words, the value of learn object 1 will be copied into scene object 1. The value of learn object 2 will be copied into scene object 2, and so on, after I have activated, so to say, the learn feature. All right, so then scene object 2 is linked to 2.3, which is here. Yeah, so that's channel 2. So that means info dimming value. I need to connect it to learn object 2. And then the 2 remaining learn objects are for the blinds. So I just unselect these blinds here and select the here we go, channel 1 of scene module and the 2 channels of the blinds activator. So same principle here. So the scene object number 3 controls the blinds that is connected to 0 to 4, which is this one. So the info position goes into learn object 3. And then the last one is easy. That's the one that remains. So the info position of channel 2 here goes to learn object 4. And then basically this function is now complete, and then I can indeed show you the effect of it. So let's try that. So I should not this time not forget to download the updated configuration. So a partial download for scene module, a partial download for the dimming activator, the blinds activator, and then this function should be complete. Okay, so let's try that. So if I now do the exercise again from where I left it, I mean from step 2, so just switch on the lamp, dim to a specific position if necessary even, put the blinds in specific position, just like that. Then again, if I now activate the scene, everything is just like before, because I didn't use the learn function yet. So what I'm saying is, if I now activate the scene, everything will just go back to 0. Let's try that. So we see that indeed. Now I will do the same, but I will use the learn function. So let's try that. So let's say I dim this up, switch it on. I want this position for blinds for the dimmable lamp 1, and also maybe another position a bit darker, maybe like that. That's what I want for my scene. And for the blinds, I want this. This is the position I want for channel 1, and this is the position sorry, for channel 2, like that. So more or less we see here dark for channel 2 and and a bit brighter for channel 1, and then more or less these positions for blinds 1 and 2. So let's find out if the scene is now correctly stored. So therefore I will use the learn function. So which is now, so by clicking, I can click it again. You can click it as many times as you want. But because with each click on the learn function, what you do there is you just copy the position, the value of the position objects, or better said, the learn objects, to the scene objects. So now, if I'll just if I do now the opposite, so I switch the lamps off, example given, because of just by using the regular buttons, so not the scene. So let's do that. So this completely up, and the other one maybe completely down or completely up. Or maybe this one to full brightness. So that means if this is the current situation and I want to have my scene as I started, then I just need to click the activate button, and then we will see that indeed now the scene is properly set. Well, at least I hope. Let's try. So I just click the activate button now. For the blinds, this seems to be fine, but not for channel 2 of the of the dimmer. I don't know why, something went wrong there. So let's try. But for the rest, it seems to be okay. Maybe I'll try again. No, that was not okay. So I'll need to check that. So channel 2 and the scene module channel 1. Two 7. So although it seems to be fine, I don't understand what happened here. Okay, I'll just try to restore the function then. Let's say this position, or maybe a bit darker. No, a bit darker, I said. Okay, now let's try again. So I'll use the learn function, switch it completely off, and then it should work. Okay, now it works. So don't know what went wrong there, but now the function seems to be properly working. So if I just switch everything off, all the blinds to position 0, or 0. So let's try it again. So if I activate now the function, yeah, then it seems to be fine.